Your hair looks fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you. It's
You
really just, when you got no choice you've washed, you just got to blow dry it and do a part.
But yeah, I mean, to be fair though, you always look fabulous. Absolutely.
Oh,
So,
well, thank you. Thank you. I'm digging the cut. I am
oh,
digging the
mm,
cut. One of my favorite things
hmm.
is seeing a woman with like really, really short hair with any kind of gray streak or like I'm I'm down for it. I'm all
Listen,
for
I am also trying to survive the pandemic, and that was one of the things that happened was, I just stopped trying to cover up my gray, for
it. Yeah.
as actors, right? We have to like, oh, I have to look a certain way or whatever. And I was like, this is over. That's all over with. I don't want to do it at home. It's too messy. I can't go to the salon. I'm not going to do that. So I just said, let's just see what happens if I let it come in. And I'm digging it. I really also, if we don't do it, how is it ever going to be, I hate this phrase, but how is it ever going to be normalized, right?
Hmm.
How is it ever, if we don't just accept it and go like, yeah, I have gray hair, yeah, I'm proud of it. um it's never going to be like a just like a regular thing that you see women kind of owning.
Right. The worst thing that I hate is to see like a 90-year-old person with like all black hair. Like that's just weird.
It
It's just
is.
weird. And it says something about for me, like I'm grateful to have been here for how many years I've been here.
Right.
And I want people to know, like, yeah, I've gained this is true wisdom. I've been here for a while. I've gained this.
Exactly. I
I'm here.
All of this is my children. I blame them.
Okay, well, they say we're supposed to talk about
Oh,
acting
okay.
and careers and things, which is kind of perfect because I feel like you're one of the people that I always want to sit down and like have a meal with and just talk and learn more about you. So now I get the opportunity.
Yeah.
So how did you get started in acting? I don't know this story, so this is a good one for me and everybody that's else to hear.
So, I mean, I can tell there's two. There's the story of like how the idea occurred to me that it's what I wanted to do. And then there's like of course how I broke into it professionally, but how the idea occurred to me. I was a cheerleader and I was in drill team all through middle school and high school, and I was really into uh, drill team and cheering and that sort of thing. And my sophomore year, no, it was my freshman year actually. At the end of my freshman year in high school, um, I shaved my head, like not a little bit shorter than what I have it now. I just kind of, this is the 80s, and I loved Billy Idol. And I was like, I'm going to shave my head. And I cut my hair really, really short. And that did not fly with the drill team. And it was kind of like, you can't look different than the rest of the drill team. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess I should have thought of that. So I was like swiftly kicked out. And like they kicked me out. It was really crazy. And I was like, all right. Um, and I remember I was standing in the gymnasium watching the drill team practice during like drill team class, because you had a class, was a big thing. And I was standing there like all bitter, just kind of watching them practice because I was no longer in drill team. And way up in the rafters, like in the little attic of the gymnasium, was where the theater class would meet,
As
like
as always.
away from everything else, in exile. And I kind of like, I glanced up and the theater teacher was standing outside his classroom and he was kind of just like staring at me. Oh, and I had dyed my hair purple. That's the other thing. So that was another reason. Um, and he was kind of staring at me, and I kind of gave him one of those like trying to be tough, like chin up things. And he started coming down the stairs, and I was like, oh no, what's happening? And he came down the stairs. I watched him cross the gym. He walked all the way up to me and he goes, do you want to be in a play? And I said, sure. Yeah, why not? And I was cast in the UIL one act play. And I went and I was hooked. Like I was hooked we got all the way to like almost state, like two things before state, whatever that is.
Mhm.
And I was hooked, and that was it. I never
So
I never
so
stopped.
so what hooked you? Talk about like what was the hook? Like some people get hooked into doing hair, some people get hooked
Mhm.
into politics. Like what was the hook?
I think it was the storytelling part of it. I think it was the just that you could get lost in telling a story, that you could get lost in creating this like whole other world, like the whole. I mean, UIL is crazy because when you go to compete, you're not competing in a theater. Like oftentimes they put up a, a platform in a gym and just make the rest of the gym dark. And so the the notion that everybody in the room, as terrible as the play was or whatever, we were in high school and whatever, but the notion that everybody agrees to be in this room together and listen to this story and tell this story and agree that these events are happening right here, right now, was like magical to me. I'm the youngest of 9 kids, and but I was born like way after the rest of the siblings.
Mhm.
So in a way, I had the best of both worlds. I have a huge family, but also I almost grew up like an only child. And I spent a lot of my time by myself pretending out in the backyard. Like that was my pastime,
Mhm.
was playing in the backyard, creating like fairy worlds and telling stories to myself and talking to like birds and all that stuff. And I'm sure people thought I was crazy, but somehow I think those two things are connected, that the thing that I did as a little kid to kind of entertain myself, which was to make up stories and tell stories, then it was fully realized in like a thing that other people accepted and saw as a thing you can do. And it was just really exciting to first lose myself in a role. Um, and then of course later on, much later on, to be the person in charge of like guiding the story, to life when I became a director. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was magical.
I love number one, I love spectacle.
Oh
Number
yeah.
two, it is all I told you this before. I had a college dance teacher who told me, honey, 70% of the performance is the costume.
When you told me that during dissolve, I was like, that is so true. I mean, and I also love, I mean, drill team, come on, spectacle,
Yeah. Yeah.
um 50 girls dancing on a football field or in a gym, that's crazy. And I love costumes, and I love, I should also say that I loved watching like old school musicals on TV.
Oh yeah.
And costumes, anything that gave me the opportunity to put on something sparkly, or to put on a mustache or a hat or whatever, um, was I am there for it. So like I was really really pleased that you enjoyed Priscilla, because I wanted to give everybody something that they'd never seen before.
Mhm.
And knowing like your background in dance and pageant world and stuff, I said I think she'll like it. And
Oh,
it was such a great match. It was such a great match.
it was. I mean that was the hook for your girl, okay? 'Cause I love number one, I love all things glamour, but I also just love all things performance. Like
Yeah,
I remember this is a little tangential, but it's okay. I'll come back.
sure.
But I remember when Hot Topic came out. Like I remember when Hot Topic came out, and I remember being like, I don't think that store is for me, but I like being in there because it's a vibe. Like I
Yeah,
like being in there because it's specific and
right.
it's telling a story. It's calling out to a certain person, and that's what I loved about it. And people were like, "Oh, this is weird," but that's the kind of spectacle I love. I'm
Yeah,
like, grab my
absolutely.
attention. Get
Yeah. There are accessory stores that are like that to me, where I'm like, I don't. I don't think that's me exactly, but I want to go in there and put on all the fascinators and I want to
Mhm.
just try on all the shoes and stuff like that. No, yeah, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
a spectacle and costume and because there are roles. I mean, there are roles where I've played roles where I can't I don't quite get who the character is. I can't like something is missing. And then as soon as I put on a piece of costume or a pair of glasses or some shoes, I'm like, oh, I know who this person is
Yeah.
you know so it's also such a huge part. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, telling the story came a little later for me where I was like, we have to I started to realize the historical power of theater and
Hmm.
the cataloging of theater, that it is a true reflection of the time. And so if you read a play, it's sort of like it can be imagined history,
Uh-huh.
preserved for the future. And that was kind of like, okay, I think that's kind of amazing. And I have to keep telling stories and doing what I do.
Hmm.
But starting out, girl, it was just about putting on sequin.
Oh yeah. You and me both. I can make like you can't see it right now, but I can make a beat happen. Like I can make an eye happen. So like one of my favorite stories and one of my favorite shows that I've ever been in was in Joseph and His Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat at the Dallas Theater Center, directed by Joel Farrell. I didn't have to do anything in that show except wear some amazing costumes, like gold cat suits and Egyptian wigs and like turbans and I was there for it. I was like, I'm fine with that. Walk on stage in a turban, I can do that.
Yes.
No
Speaking of,
problem.
how did you get to DTC? I don't know this story either.
Well, I came to Dallas way back in 93 and I worked at Teatro Dallas with Cora Cardona, who is still one of my mentors and teachers and taught me how to be in this industry. I worked with her for a long time, and then just kind of worked all over the place. Found my way over to Undermain, and found my way over to Kitchen Dog. And I had never worked at the. I had auditioned for the theater center, but was never cast. For whatever reason. Um, and then when Kevin came along, the word got out that he was looking at everybody and he was going to form a company and all that stuff. And by that time, I'll be honest with you, I was a little bitter about not ever having worked at the theater center. And I was like, I don't care. I don't care. If he comes and asks me, I won't do it. And blah, 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 blah. I was like real chip on my shoulder about it. And I think that helped me actually because when when I was asked to come in and audition, I said no the first time. I said I said I'm too busy. I'm too busy. And then they asked me again to come and audition for the company, and I said no, I'm too busy. And then the third time, um, Kevin emailed me and said, "Hey, you don't have to come in and audition. I just want to talk to you. Just come in and talk to me." And I was like, okay. So I went and talked to him. Uh, and I felt bad. Like I felt bad. I was like, I thought I was being kind of, pissy at the last minute. And, and I said, well, I mean, I'll get up and do something if you want me to do something. And he was like, okay, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I just did Our Lady of 121st Street over at Kitchen Dog. So I can like get up and do something from there and I can like, whatever. And I did. And I walked out. And again, I was like, I don't care. And but I honestly feel that helped. And then he called me and he said, hey, do you want to be part of the company? I really want you to be part of the company. And I had to think about it a little bit because of my own pride, my own pride made me go, oh, you said that you didn't care about this. And you said that this didn't matter to you. And you said that blah, 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 blah. And I had to walk back my words a little bit. But when I saw who else was in the company, it was such a wonderful group. and it was an opportunity to be a, a Latin person, right? Um, in a company of actors for a theater that had never really had a Latin person as part of their core company, you know? And I felt like this is a good opportunity. And I'd be crazy not to be a part of it. I'd be crazy to not want to be part of the same group that Liz Michael is in, or that Chambly Ferguson is in, or Sally Vale, or any of those amazing people. And so I said, okay, I'll do it. And yeah. So, but I think that kind of being pissy about it and kind of going like, I don't care, kind of helped me because I didn't want it so much, right? I just came in and like, I played hard to get, Tiana. Long story short.
Sometimes you gotta make a man work, okay?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And he did.
He did. He did, and it was worth it. It was worth every bit. Yeah. I know. I this is funny. This reminds me of this story between me and Liz. Liz told me a couple of years after I had been in the company, she was like, when you got here, you were so quiet. You looked like you didn't want to talk to none of us. And I was like, no, it's just being in a room with Liz Michael. You have to sort of like realize, like, I'm in a room with Liz Michael. What do
It's
I do?
true.
What do I say? What?
It's true. It is true. Like I felt that way because, I mean, Liz was already Liz when the company started.
Hmm.
So it was a little intimidating, but she's so wonderful. She's such a warm, giving person that as soon as you get past your own, because it's not her putting that out
Yes,
there. It's
it's
not
you.
her.
Yes.
It's you. And as soon as you get past that, oh man, those dressing rooms are so much fun.
Yes, I kept trying to explain to my husband. I was like, what show was it? I was in a dressing room with Sally and Liz,
Oh
and
God.
it was some of the best dressing room.
I've been in that dressing room, and yeah. And good times, bad times, when we were doing Medea, which is also one of my favorite plays that I did there. It
Mhm.
was the only time that me and Liz and Sally got to be on stage together for like the whole show. And so we shared a dressing room, and I was going through some personal stuff at that time with my family. My mother was very ill, and so it's really great, funny, amazing times. And then also a room where I could just come in and let everything go and not be judged, and really feel like I was being held by these two amazing women, so yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This reminds me, okay, have you ever, when you get ready, like when you're in a rehearsal process, do you ever think about, maybe this is just me because I always wondered this, but you're a good person to ask, so I'm gonna ask. Um, like I think through, like, oh, I wonder who will be in my dressing room, and like how I can add to the culture of the dressing room. Like I'm always thinking about that. Like that's important to me for some reason. I don't know what
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the great thing is that yes, at the beginning, short answer, yes. At the beginning, I was like, oh, who am I going to be in the dressing room, right? When you get your assignment and you're like, oh, who am I going to be in that dressing room? And it always depends, because just this combination of who's in there
Mhm.
tells you immediately what it's going to
Yeah.
be like. Um, as the years went on, and I was kind of like an elder statesman of the dressing room. I knew exactly who I was going to be. And it was just like, if there were younger women in the room with me, I knew I was going to be that person that everybody asked questions, or. So okay, so here's a funny story. Do you remember Jackie? You got to work with Jackie, our dresser?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So Jackie was part of the wardrobe team, and Jackie was so funny. And sometimes there are younger actors, like, who have never worked in a Lort situation, who have never had dressers, who have never, sometimes it's brand new and you don't know how things work. You have
Mhm.
to learn these things. And who don't quite know the protocol of how to be in a dressing room when you have wardrobe people who kind of do everything for you.
Yeah.
And so it would frustrate Jackie sometimes. Like we'd have a young actor who like would just throw their clothes on the floor and not hang up their own clothes, or eat very strong smelling food in the dressing, or what have you, anything that was not quite protocol.
Hmm.
And I remember one time Jackie came in and it was just me because I'm an early arriver. And Jackie was like, oh, I just don't know what I'm going to do about this person, blah, 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 blah. And I turned to Jackie and I said, hey, should we do a skit? Like, should we do a skit? So when this person arrives, should I ask you questions? Right. And so then you're answering the question like I'm the dumb one, but everybody learns. And
Uh-huh.
she was like, yes. Oh my gosh. So we started just doing that at the beginning of all the shows where we had new kids, and it was usually like Christmas Carol because that's when you get like a lot of new kids. Um,
Hmm.
so we would arrive like on one of the first days of being in tech, and I would ask the question like, hey Jackie, when I'm done with my costume, do you want me to put it on my hanger and put it back, or should I leave it there and let you take care of it? What are the things that you want me to take care of? She would go, well, Christie, you should hang up blah 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 blah. um, and so we would do the skits for the children, and I would be like, hey Jackie, should I just do my own makeup, or like, do I put in my own, should I pull my wig off really hard? And she'd be like, no, 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 Nicole will come in and take your wig off so that you don't. So we just started so that that was my service. So I feel like the I'm getting to the answer of your question, which is like, I guess I took on the responsibility of like being the dumb actor in the room. So the young actors would be like, oh, the wig master will take care of that for me. I should not pull my wig off.
Hey, I love that. First of all, I just love that because I feel like I've been in rooms like that before where I'm like, I'm gonna ask this question because this person does something that gets on my nerve, and we all need to understand what it. So let me ask this question
Exactly.
so that the room is clear. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think what did it was this one time we had was this one girl who, as soon as we got off stage, she would grab her wig and yank it off her head. And I was like, oh my God, like someone is gonna, Jennifer Abels is gonna walk in here and tell somebody off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not gonna be funny.
Because those wigs are not cheap.
They are not cheap, and it takes a lot of work to
Yeah.
get them combed for the shows, and
Hmm.
that, like, that's somebody's job.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
But people like that, I always assume maybe it's bad on me and it's probably biased. I'm not sure. But I just assume, like, where's your home training?
I know. I know. No, I'm like you. I'm like, this person was just not raised right.
Pick up your clothes.
Pick up your clothes. These people, like the wardrobe people, that this is one thing that always gets on my nerves. They are not your maids. They are your
Yeah.
co-workers,
Right.
right? And that was one thing that it really bothered me sometimes, that some people in the professional world were astounded to see that we operate like co-workers backstage at the theater center. It's they're not our servants. They're not there
Yeah.
to serve you. They are on the team of doing the show,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I never get it either. I remember being a very young actor, like getting comfortable with having
Mm-hmm.
dressers
Oh yeah, me too.
because it was uncomfortable for me to um to have someone not like, I mean, hey, if I gotta get dressed in 30 seconds, I got no choice but to just spread and let somebody do it.
Exactly.
But things like going to get this or going to do
Mm-hmm.
that, I get antsy around that kind of stuff because
Yeah.
one, I feel like I want I want to do as much as I can do so that you can be good at your job as a
Right.
dresser
Right.
and to not impede any of the other
Mm-hmm.
challenges you already have. Like
Right.
I don't want to be a bother to anybody, and it just kind of like just keeps you grounded. Just
Yeah.
get your own stuff, do your own. Who are
Yeah.
you? Who are you?
exactly.
Unless you pay somebody to go do that,
Mm-hmm.
do it yourself, you know?
Yeah, I feel the same way. It took me a while to get used to somebody coming to me and say, "Can I bring you a cup of tea?" or "Can I?" And it's like, no, like I can go do that, you know. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah. I mean, the times when it's like I've got 30 seconds, just stand there and like let somebody else, and they're good at it. They are
Oh,
so. Oh my gosh, they're so good at it.
even if you like want to, so okay, this is secretly one of my favorite things in theater, in regional theater that I have experienced, like getting a quick change down to
Oh
the
yeah.
drop. That is some of the best behind the scenes things that I think people don't know about. Like
No.
when at tech, the first time you do it, it's awful. It's
Oh
awful.
yeah. It's
And
a
it takes
mess.
you like 3 minutes just to get it done. And then like a team of people come together and they figure out who and when is gonna who's gonna do it and when it's gonna get done.
Yeah.
So and so is gonna put your shoes facing north, and
Right.
then if you run and jump into them, bend over so a wig can go over your head.
Right.
And then after the wig goes on, just stick your arms out and we'll put on a shirt. We'll come through.
Yeah.
Somebody, like it's such.
It's so satisfying
Yes.
when you finally get it down. I think we both had some really quick ones in Steel Magnolias.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. And they were real quick. But when you get them, they're super, super satisfying because you go out one door and then you come back the other in like a completely different look. Like, we did that.
And then that moment where you like you run on stage, you're ready and you're so satisfied, you get into your line, you're there for the moment and somebody's like, "Hold."
Oh, yeah. During tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of my
Yeah.
favorite, it's just like nobody knows this happens if you're not here.
It's
But
true. Some like you don't know. It's like there's rehearsals for that stuff. There's rehearsals for all of that, for all that kinds of stuff. So yeah, you get it. You get on stage, and then it's like, hold, now let's go forward, and it's like,
yeah.
ah,
Didn't get it. Speaking of Steel Magnolias, to this date, right? Cheer. That is one of my favorite plays that I have done at the Dallas Theater Center because the cast was out. First of all, I had been waiting to work that closely with Joel. I
mm-hmm.
feel like Dreamgirls was like okay, but that was like a lot more. It was a musical, so there's a lot more music there. But still, Magnolias is just a meaty. It's just
Right,
it's a play on a plate, and you gotta eat it.
right,
So you gotta eat it. It's a lot of words, and I love the chance to break away from musicals for a moment.
mm-hmm.
Just dig into a meaty play.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll be honest, like it was not. I guess I had just never thought of me in Steel Magnolias, and it's such an iconic and like cultural phenomenon. Like everybody loves it, right? Everybody loves that show. I love it, and when I think of it, I think of the film, and I had never thought of myself in that show, in that role.
Mm-hmm.
And so when Joel approached me about it, I was like, oh, yeah, that would be really cool. And just the chance to work with you, with Sally, with Liz, with Nat. I mean, it is one of my sweetest memories of being on stage at the theater center because it was just so much fun. And I loved the clothes.
Oh yeah.
I loved everything about it. I loved everything about it.
Yes, it was so great. I remember us having this this conversation in rehearsal with Joel. We had a scene with some it was a mother it was one of those
Mm-hmm.
mother-daughter kind of like argument scenes, and we had said something. Joel suggested something, and you were like, it's just so precious. Like it just feels so precious, you know.
Uh-huh.
And then it was like hours later after that, and we were working on a different portion of the scene. That was a really long scene, and we were working on a different portion of it, and I just came to it, and at the end of the scene, and Joel was like, he asked me like, well, what's going on, what's wrong with there? I was like, it's just too precious. Like there are too many pretty lines in
Mm-hmm.
this show that make you feel like, and so
Right.
it was like trying to work against that. And I remember Joel saying like, "Oh no, with he said something like with you two, I know not to make anything precious." And I
Yeah.
thought, absolutely.
Yeah, I know. With like, especially you and me, it's like, nah, I'm not going to be sappy or syrupy. Yeah, I'm just going to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he's like said that there was one time when I was one of the times I played Mrs. Cratchit, and I had to like chase after one of the kids or something. It was in the old version, and he said he was like, "You're just trying to get Christmas ready, so like get a hold of the kids." And I was like, "All right." I channeled my own mother, and I was like, "Get over here." He said to me, "Vela, I don't think Mrs. Cratchit has to be so surly." And I said, "Well, you might have cast the wrong person then, because that's how my mama did it."
You're like,
So,
when children need to be rounded up.
yep, take off my shoe. Come
That's
on. That's how it happens back home.
yes, yes, indeed. So yeah, that's been one of my absolute favorites because of the director, the cast, I mean, even I will never forget the set. It was just, and people still talk to me, Christy. People still talk to me about Steel Magnolias, and I mean, it surprises me because I feel like after I've done a show that I really loved, I have to like mourn it being over and
Yeah,
then like take the memory of loving it with me, and it
right.
lives with me. But when other people come up to me and I mean people that don't know my name, they're just like, Shelby, Shelby. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm Tiana. I did
But
play
I
Shelby.
did play Shelby.
But it just reminds me like, oh, I think people take the memories of the shows they love as well. And I take that for granted as a person who does the
Yeah,
work. And like, I think I'm living with that memory to myself, and everybody else is living with it as well.
right. Because we have to move so fast. I mean, we move from show to show. So you do, in a way, have to kind of go like, all right, that's done. I'm
Mhm.
going to grieve it that it's over. And this lives in my heart now. And now I'm on to the next thing. And so, yeah, when people, I have to tell you, though, that like one of my favorite things that I've seen you in was The Mountaintop as Kaye. You were extraordinary in that show. And it's like, I was just blown away by your performance in that show.
Thanks.
So great.
Yeah, that was that I talked to my husband about that a
Mm-hmm.
lot because that was that's a two-hander show, and
Yeah.
I remember being stressed about that. And
Mm-hmm.
I was
Your co-star was not easy.
okay. No,
Love
no.
him. Love him.
Love
Not
him.
easy.
Love him.
He is my brother, but
Yes. But even before I got there, Christy, I think I was still in grad school.
mhm.
So I had already had a load on me that was like, okay, I'm in grad school and I have this I'm working, which was a blessing and also like terrifying. And then I was at a point, in grad school, they're just busy like ripping you apart and showing all your weaknesses and
Yeah.
and digging into all your insecurities as an artist. And like grad school is a discombobulating experience, rightfully so. It should be. That's what it's supposed to be. But in being in the midst of that, trying to work, it makes you very doubtful
Yeah.
about your ability. It makes you doubtful about your potential. It makes you
Mhm.
doubtful about what you have to offer. And so I walked into that room, Christy, with so much anxiety that I would be holding my script like this, but I would be tremoring like this. Because
Wow.
I was so afraid. And I was working with Akeem Babatunde.
I know. That's the other thing.
And I mean, so I worked with Akeem a very long time before that, maybe when I was like 12 or 13. I was in a summer camp. And so I knew who he was,
Mhm.
and he was already in my mind like well revered.
Mm-hmm.
So I had like, I'm doing this amazing play by Katori Hall. That's a two-hander directed by Akeem Babatunde and with Hassan. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh God. So I'm just in a room tremoring. And I remember Akeem Babatunde, and I love him to this day for telling me this. He said, baby, you gonna be all right. Cause I'm not gonna let you fuck up my show.
Looks like
I
him.
said, I thought,
Oh yeah.
God, I love you. I love
Yeah.
you. Because that it could sound pompous, but it really wasn't. It was about,
Right.
if we make sure the team wins. And if
Right.
you are on the team,
Right.
you look bad, we all look bad. So
Right.
we make sure the team wins.
Yeah,
That's, I'll
everybody
never forget.
everybody wants you to succeed.
Yeah.
Everybody wants you to succeed. I mean, I feel the same way about Joel. Joel has put me in shows where I didn't think I could do them. And then I learned quickly. I was like, oh, if if Joel thinks I can do this, he's not going to let his show suck. So I will be. Then I can do it. Then I know I can do it. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But that was that was an experience of a lifetime. And I knew when I did that role, I think these roles come far few in between.
Mm-hmm.
Like the ones that cling closely to your heart,
Mm-hmm.
that scare you to death,
Yeah.
and they just don't come often. And I knew that while I was doing it. And after a while, the anxiety faded. I was able to stand in what I knew, and know that I was a good actor and a good artist, and stand behind my work. So it's good to hear that it paid off,
Oh
because
yes, you were incredible. It was incredible. But yeah, like it is true. Like sometimes sometimes you're doing a good show, sometimes you're just doing a show because it's your job and that's what you're doing. And the special ones are when in the moment, even in the rehearsal room, that it is going to be something special.
Mhm.
Those are the ones that you cling to.
Yeah. That's why I know everybody is sad that we didn't get to do Dissolve,
Yeah.
but that's what I enjoyed so much about being in the process of Dissolve.
Mm-hmm.
Because number one, let me just say, the pandemic has taken away all of our comfortability as artists, and it's asked us to do something different. And
Mm-hmm.
in the midst of that, you can scramble, or you can like find a way forward.
Right.
And I felt like Dissolve was such an interesting way forward, to come together and create with a group of people spectacle,
Yeah.
and it not having to be about the stakes of a play or a
Right.
role, but just to create.
I was really excited to be in that room with you guys. I mean, yeah, I was sad that we didn't get to do it, but just those 2 weeks that we were together were just, to me, galvanizing as a theater person. Like after a whole year of not directing anything, of not working on anything traditionally, really being in the room with other people, was just the thing that kept coming back to me was, who's going to tell us we're wrong? Who's going to tell us we're wrong? No one can tell us we're wrong for doing what we're doing. So let's just do whatever and have fun with it. I hope that we get to do something like that in the future. I hope that like I hope that what we've all been through this year kind of pushes us forward in being more fearless in that way, right? I know I want to be. I don't want to settle.
Yeah.
And sometimes you settle for whatever reason, and I don't want to settle. I just want to throw everything to the wind and see what happens.
Yeah, I don't want to settle. I just want my headpiece. That's all I just want my headpiece, and to walk a mile in my headpiece.
We're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen somehow. Michael's got that headpiece in the
Yeah.
costume shop. We're gonna make it happen.
Headpiece and a cape. Headpiece and a cape. That's all I want in life. Okay, I have one more question for you because I really like this question. What is your favorite line of dialogue?
Oh gosh, that is, oh you know, oh gosh, my brain just short circuited. um there's so many. I mean, they're you
You can
know,
do like you can do
so like from the stuff that I did, I'll never forget playing Friar Lawrence and Romeo and Juliet.
mm,
That was one of those roles. I had played the nurse before, but when Joel cast me as Friar Lawrence, I was like, really? um and then when I heard his idea for it and like really let myself just be immersed in it, um I'm not, it's like the whole monologue that Friar Lawrence has to Romeo after Romeo kind of loses his mind and finds out everything that's going on. And Friar Lawrence says to him that, hey buddy, get with it, right? Like, I don't remember it now, but like that whole speech to him, telling him to get his shit together, basically,
mhm,
right? This is what you wanted. This is what you wanted. You love this girl, then commit to this girl,
mhm,
right? And don't. And I had, honestly, I had never understood that monologue before in my life, in all the times that I had even seen the show. And that's not, it's not because I was doing, but it's because Joel directed it in such a way that tapped into my kind of like mother instinct of getting on your own kid and saying, this is what you chose, this is what you wanted to do, now you have to do it, right? And quit being a wuss about it, right? And once I tapped into that, like the monologue just cracked open for me. And it's a moment on stage that I shared with this young actor, Jake Horowitz, who's played Romeo and was incredible. And I'll never, ever, ever forget it. It was such a moment of clarity and like words really, really, really meaning something to me that I never quite experienced before. And then there's also, you know, a play that I did over at Second Thought. This one's much simpler. There's a play I did over at Second Thought called Revolt. She said, "Revolt again."
mhm.
Um, and there's a scene in the play where basically it starts out with a woman facing her male boss, and she just says, "I don't want to work on Mondays anymore." And that, like, I find myself saying that all the time. And the crux of it is like, yeah, she's saying, "I don't want to work on Mondays anymore," and he keeps going, uh "Are you sick? Are you pregnant? Like, do you want a raise?" And she's like, "Nope, I just don't want to work on Mondays anymore." And the whole crux of it is that, why do we need to do things like everybody says we've been doing them for years and years and years and years? The way we do things doesn't work. The way we do things is shitty. And I'm not going to do them the way anybody tells me to do them anymore. So you know what? I'm not going to work on Mondays anymore.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I love that line, and I say it all the time. I'll just get up and I'll be like, "I don't want to work on Mondays anymore." And to
Now
me, it
I'll get
means
up
like,
and
I
say
am not going to do things the way they're done anymore.
it. Yeah, that reminds me of one of my favorite lines in any show in history.
Mm-hmm.
Um, First of all, let me just say George C. Wolfe is a genius. Um, and I love him. I love everything that he has ever done. But Jelly's Last Jam, and
Oh,
there is a line in Jelly's Last Jam during the so Jelly is a he's a kid at this moment, and he's been um he's been deep in his Creole roots, and playing, European classical music, and he goes to a juke joint and he hooks up with the musicians at the juke joint, and he's bragging about you know, all of the music that he can play in the book, and read music, and the musician tells him having the notes on the page is like knowing you're gonna wake up in the morning, you know. And I will never
Yeah, that
forget
is
that piece of
great.
text. It's like,
That is great.
having the notes in front of you is like knowing you're gonna wake up in the morning.
Yeah,
And I mean, for me,
that is deep.
on several levels, just as an artist,
Right.
just like that's a mic drop, number one. And two, you're just like, I love black people.
Ah, no, that's a beautiful line. I just thought
Yeah.
of like two other pieces of dialogue that I've never had the opportunity to utter, but I do love them. There's a line in Streetcar Named Desire where Blanche says, and sometimes there's God so suddenly.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, I love that line. And
Yes.
just, when something breaks open and you feel like you see God suddenly, something happens to come in and save you. It's such a beautiful line. And then there's the line from Our Town also, where sometimes I'll be in the grocery store or like just outside or just, and I'm like, oh world, you're just too wonderful for anyone to realize you. I love that line. I
Yeah,
love
I
that
love
line.
that. I love that. I love when things just constantly, you know how you say you wake up in the morning and sometimes you say, I don't want to work on Mondays anymore.
Mm-hmm.
What happens, what Harrison does, my husband's Harrison, this is for everybody else, not you, Christy. But
Yeah.
what Harrison does is, like any show I'm in or any show we've seen, he sees it multiple times because he's always coming to the show. So he starts to learn the
Yeah.
show. And so then after a while, like a month after the show closes and it's over, he just walks up to me saying lines from the show, or walks up to me and does other people's performances. And
Did he ever say to you, drink your juice, Shelby?
no, he never said you need to drink your juice, Shelby, but it was something else. It was something else he kept saying from Steel Magnolias. I can't think of it, but drink your juice, Shelby is certainly one that I have said to myself.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So many people have come up to me and said that line. They're like, oh, drink your juice, Shelby. And I'm like, yes, yes, I did tell
Yeah.
Shelby to drink her juice. So
Well, thank you, Christy Vela. I've enjoyed this conversation. I
I
feel like it's something
know,
that
me
I've always
too.
wanted to do.
We should do it more often, even when they're not recording us.
I know. I know. You a busy woman. So you let me know when you got time.
All right, we'll do it.
Okie doke.